Yes, so good evening to all the students, Tamil, Rasi and Samo. Hello, this is Kaushik here. Actually, Niharika is not going to take up the class today. She is busy with something. We have in India we have a festival called Karwa Chauth. Hope you have heard this name. It's a festival. Are you aware of this festival? So actually, yes, Samo is right. Okay, Samo, can you tell me what is this festival about? Samo, can you tell about the festival to Tamil Rasi? What is this festival is for? Yes, that's right. That's right. And for the whole day, the woman used to keep fast. Yes. And later in the evening, when moon moon comes out, only after seeing the moon, she eats and drinks something. So actually, okay, just go into google.com, Karwa Chauth. Okay, so on Niharika's behalf, I am taking up the class today. Okay, shall we start the class now? So our today's class is on communication skills, and the topics which we are covering in today's class are the formal and informal channels of communication, the grapevine and the direction of communication. So these are the topics which we are taking in communication in today's class. Now let us start with the first slide. Let us see what is formal communication is all about. So communication is the transfer of information from one person to another, whether or not it elicits confidence, but the information transfers must be understandable to the receiver. So if this conversation or if this communication is happening between the two guys in the organization, or if it is happening between the two employees, it is called as business communication. So communication plays a vital role in today's present world. So, and if there is a, that's why when we are dealing on long projects or on big projects in the organization, so it is being said that the communication between the two teams or the communication between the two parties must be strong, or the communication must be in written. There should not be only verbal communication, there should be written communication also. So communication, just to say that communication plays a vital role in today's business world. So what is communication? Communication is the transfer of meaningful information between the two persons so that it can be understood by each other. Then second, communication is the intercourse by words, letters or messages. So communication can be verbal communication, can be non-verbal communication as well. So it can be by words we communicate, or by letters, or by messages, or by telephonic communication. So these are different ways of communicating amongst each other. Now let us see the types of communication. There are two types of communication basically, the formal communication and informal communication. What is formal communication? Formal communication deals with the sharing of official information with others who need it. So formal communication, whenever we talk of formal communication, it means that we are talking in respect to the business, we are talking in respect to the organization, we are talking in respect to the office, official work, something which is not personal. So formal communication is something which is not personal, which is not related to your personal life. It is related to your job life, it is related to your business life, it is related to the office's life. So that is the formal communication. So communication can happen between the subordinate and his manager, or the manager and the deputy general manager, or the top management and the junior management, or between the middle management and lower management. So any type of communication which is happening between or within the organization or from the business perspective is called as formal communication. Number one. Number two, what is informal communication? Informal communication is sharing of information with friends, peers, which has no skeleton like formal communication. That means apart from any official communication, whatever communication is happening is called as informal communication. Apart from any communication happening, apart from any communication, informal communication. So informal communication can be happening, it can happen between friends, it can happen between family members, it can happen I mean if it does not have any business related issues, if it does not have any official related issues, so all those type of information are called as informal communication, are called as informal communication. For example, suppose I am teaching you right now. What we are doing, we are working officially right now. I am a teacher, you are a student, so we are having a formal communication which is going on. But I have told about that Karwa Chauth, you go into Google and type the word Karwa Chauth. Karwa Chauth happens for such and such reasons. Those communications are called as informal communication, because that is not related to the subject, that is not related to the official matters. Okay, you understand what I want to say? You understand the difference between the formal and the informal? What about Samo? Any issues, any doubts, any clarification? Clear? Okay, great. So formal communication can be a downward communication, or it can be a upward communication. What is downward communication? Any communication which is being communicated from top to bottom, from up to down, is called as a downward communication. That means arrow is pointing downward. What I mean by arrow is pointing downward, like I'll draw a diagram for you here. What I mean to say, now this is I am drawing the hierarchy within the organization. Okay. Do you all see this diagram which I have drawn here on the whiteboard? Can you all see this diagram? Okay. So this is the downward communication. That means any communication which is being communicated from top management to the lower management is called as the downward communication. Now this is the top management. This is the lower management. Here somewhere is the middle management. So any information which is being communicated from the top management via middle management to the lower management is called as the downward communication. So downward communication, if any information is communicated from this level or top management, so it will be not a request, it will be an instruction, it will be an order, it will be a direction, or it will be a feedback, because they are the senior guys, they are having the authority, they are the senior people, they are in the board of directors. So they will not request, they will give orders, they will give instructions, they will give direction. So that is called as the downward communication. What is upward communication? Upward communication is any communication which is happening from top to bottom is called as upward communication. This is upward communication. This is downward communication. Okay. So upward communication, any communication which is happening from lower to upper is called as upward. Where the arrow is pointing upward is the upward, where the arrow is pointing downward is the downward communication. So upward communication, data required to complete projects, status reports, like senior employees want the status report. What is the, whether project is completed or not, how much time is required, what is the financial cost of the project. So all those information which is being communicated from the lower management to the middle management or from middle management to the upper management is called as the upward communication. So it cannot be instructions. You have to submit the status report. You have to give suggestions or improvements, new ideas, so that it can be implemented by the senior management. That is called as the upward communication. Okay, clear to all? Any clarifications, any doubts? Anybody wants to ask something? Okay, now moving ahead. Then comes the horizontal communication, that is coordination of cooperation. See, this is the diagram, a similar diagram I have also drawn here. Now they have given one example of the diagram here. The president at the top, then vice president, then below vice president are the managers. So this is the information given from lower management to senior management, and instructions and directives are given from, this is the downward communication, this is the upward communication, and this is the horizontal communication, which is efforts coordination, coordination among teams, coordination among two different teams, coordination among two different managers for the successful completion of project. That is called as horizontal communication. Clear? Now you get to know the difference between the downward communication, upward communication, and horizontal communication. This is upward communication, this is downward communication, and this is horizontal communication. Now let us see the types of formal communication. Formal communication are two types. One, it's a written communication, or it may be a verbal communication. What is the written communication? It can be letters, emails, blogs, entries, notice boards, or it can be bulletins, memos, handouts. What is the verbal communication? Speech, conferences, and presentations. So these are the two types of formal communications. I mean, whenever we are communicating in the office, if we are working with or associated with certain organizations, certain business organizations, so there is an emailing facility. We can communicate through email. We can put in our requirements on the notice boards. We can write blogs. An internal website is there on which we can write blogs. Also, we can give memos. We can give bulletins. Then second, verbal communication is if suppose my company sends me to certain conferences. There it has been appointed by my company so that I can market my company. So I can tell about my company to the other members of the conferences where the conference is happening. So I have to give speech there. So that is conferences, or that is presentation. So formal communications are basically of two types, written and verbal. Now moving ahead. Now this is a written communication, which is electronic emails. Email is 21st century's billboard. Real-time message conveyed faster than means of communication, entered into personal and professional life. So this is electronic email. Now email in business. Email is the e-revolution in business communication, accepted by the business community as the first board electronic communication medium. Email occupies major portion of the internal communication, and then newsletters and notice boards take place. Now moving ahead, why email as formal communication? Business on the move exchange information between two or more people with no setup cost, inexpensive than physical meetings on or phone calls. So that is why emails are the formal communication way. Is it clear to all? Am I not going fast? I am going at the right speed to you people. If I am going a little bit faster, please let me know. Okay, great. Now again, emails helps in multitasking, that we can send the same email by keeping other people's in the CC. So, or we can work on the same schedule. We can spend the same amount of time in the meeting or call. We can participate, many control their scheduling independently. So I mean, email is the best way of communicating in today's world. We can just, by clicking of the mouse, we can send one email to as many people as we can within the organization or outside the organization as well. So it saves our time, it helps in communication, and it is one of the best ways of communication. That is why it is a part of the formal communication. Now what is the full form of email? Error prone, misinterpretation, authentication, inconsistency, and liability. To summarize, efficient way of communication, faster means of carrying information and ideas, still not perfect, can become best communication channel. This brings us to the end of this particular slide. Clear to all? Okay. Now moving ahead, let us go with another PPT on formal and informal channels of communication. Now let us see the role of communication in organization or within the organization. So key purpose is direct action to get others to behave in desired fashion, achieve coordinated action. That means if you want to get the desired result, you have to motivate your team, you have to allocate work to your team, you have to get the work done from your subordinates so that you can achieve the desired result which has been communicated to you by the senior management. So at every level of work, within the organization, whether it's a team meetings, whether it's preparing a business requirement document, it's a communication happening between the technical team and the business related teams, or the communication happening between the stakeholders and the company's management, or it's the communication happening between the middle management and the top management, or the communication happening between the two different departments within the organization. At every level, there is a role of communication. So one should be very clear whatever one is communicating. At times it happens that persons commits and communicates that he or she will get the job done, but after some times he or she can say that I have not committed anything. So to the best way to avoid any kind of miscommunication, it's always better to have written communication. Written communication will be mail. If you are planning to work on certain project together, you need to sign an MOU, you need to sign an agreement, you need to decide a salary structure or the money required in that. In the completion of that project, you require to decide on the number of resources you require, the skilled guys you are requiring for that, the time requiring. So everything is on mail. Everything, that means everything should be writtenly communicated. It should not be communicated orally. So in that way things work. So at last we can say that communication plays a required role within the organization at each and every level. Number one. Number two, it's a systematic sharing of information. Systematic sharing means interpersonal side with the focus on interpersonal relations between people. Okay? Do you understand this part? The role of communication within organization. Any issues? Please come up with the questions if you have. Okay, great. Now moving ahead. So communication, the social glue that continues to keep the organization tied together. It should also be kept into the mind that whatever communication is being happening is a positive communication. It should not mean that we are using absurd languages within the organization. We must have to maintain the decorum of the organization. We have to follow the rules and regulations, the policies. We have to follow the policies of the organization. So communication can be a healthy communication. And it should be a formal communication. It should not be related to your personal life. But whatever communication is happening within the organization should be a formal communication. It should not be an informal communication. So the communication is a social glue that continues to keep the organization tied together. Then communication is the essence of the organization. Then a key process underlying all aspects of organizational operations. Properly managing communication process is central to organizational functioning. Then organizational structure. What is organizational structure? Organizational structure directing the flow of message. The formally prescribed pattern of interrelationships existing between the various units of the organization, dictating who may and may not communicate with whom, abstract construction deposited in organizational chart. So this basically means that in every organization there is a structure. As I have shown you in this diagram, that this is the structure of the organization. I mean, this structure varies from organizations to organizations. At the top there is the CEO or the MD, then executive directors of IT department, finance department, HR department, marketing department. Then we have different general managers for all the respective departments. Below that general manager we have a deputy general manager, then manager, then executive. So at every role communication is required. Now everybody does not, suppose within that executive director there are 3 general managers working, out of which suppose 2 have been allocated responsibilities to communicate. One do not has to communicate. He has to look after the things internally. So in this particular slide, it is saying that the flow, it should be decided that who will communicate and who will not communicate. It should be decided so that there should not be any kind of problems happening if things are not planned, if things are not organized, if roles are not defined properly, so things will become messed up. So to avoid all those stuffs, at the very starting, whenever policies are framed or whenever new employees join in the organization, he has been strictly communicated by the HR department of the company what his role is, to whom he has to report to, what are the jobs he has to carry out, to whom he can write a mail or shoot a mail for any kind of concerns or queries. So all these things are defined within the organizational structure. With that, we can say that there should be a positive flow, there should be a organized flow of message within the organization so as to maintain the decorum of the organization. Do you got my point? What I want to say? Everybody? Okay, great. Now moving ahead. Now this is the organizational chart. At the top, say it is the MD or the CEO of the company. Then suppose this is marketing department, this is finance department, this is the IT department. In IT department, they have 3 different sub teams. Suppose this is the Java team, this is the Oracle team, this is say this is a server team. Now in marketing team, they have different business development manager, then they have regional marketing managers, then they have product manager. In finance department, they have chartered accountants, they have account managers, they have they have some accountant guy who looks after the accounts part or finance part. So this is somewhat the hierarchy of the system is, and every member in the organization is then allocated the roles and responsibilities. It is also decided that who will communicate and to whom he will communicate. If we are talking of the formal organization, informal organizations can happen between, suppose, this guy and this guy. It can happen that these two are friends and they can have informal communication, but any kind of formal communication will not happen these two guys. So if I am talking of any kind of communication, that means I am talking of formal communication. I am not talking of informal communication. Formal communication is what? Formal communication is the communication happening between the 2 employees within the organization. Now moving ahead. So formal communication is the process of sharing official information with others who need to know it. Number 1. Number 2, according to the prescribed patterns depicted in an organizational chart. That means the communication will happen as per the organizational chart. This we have seen. This what we have also seen. Now this is talking about the centralized network. That means this is what does this mean? There is an information stored at one place. There is a one central person who will come. There is one central person. There is unequal access to information. Central person is at the crossroads of the information flow. So I mean, central person is the person who is responsible to provide information to all the other members. Suppose if I talk of a certain team, if I talk of IT team, suppose they have 20 members. At the center there is a manager, and all the 19 members report to their manager. So who is the central person? The manager is the central person. All the 19 members of the team, they can approach to the manager for getting the desired information. Okay, is it clear to all? Now let us see this diagram of the centralized person. Now this is the one who is at the center. Suppose this is the manager and these are his teammates. So anybody wants the information, he has to communicate with the center person. Again, this is the centralized communication structure. This is a chain. Amongst the communication structure, there are different types of structure. It's a chain structure. What is the decentralized networks? Decentralized networks, information can flow freely. There is no central person. All members play an equal role in the transmission of information. That means there is no individual person who can give or share information to others. Information can be equally shared amongst anybody. Now this is an example of the decentralized communication structure. Circle, then comma. So to sum up, we can say that this is an example of decentralized network, and this is an example of centralized network. Centralized network has one central person, whereas decentralized network has no central person. Clear to all? Okay. Vinith is not typing anything. Why? Okay. Now I'm skipping some of the slides, which is of not much use. Okay, I'll do one thing. I can. Okay. So let us play one video. I have one video for you. So we can take. I can take a 2-minute rest also, and I can also play a video for you.
To blogs and texts to tweets, communication is how we send and receive messages, and those messages surround.
Will you all be able to see this video?
Our words, our tone of voice, in our expressions, in our inboxes and our mailboxes, in a conversation with coworkers, or the important meeting with our boss. It's the tilt of a head or the roll of an eye. Communication allows us to share our thoughts, to learn and exchange ideas, to serve customers and clients. With so many messages to sift through, we owe it to ourselves and to others to be the best communicators we can. Recent surveys, the National Association of Colleges and Employers found that the ability to communicate effectively ranked as the most important skill for new hires. The ability to speak and write well and to listen effectively is your key to career success.
So whether you're talking, tweeting, texting, emailing, or simply listening to what someone else has to say, you are using a set of skills that is highly valued in the working world.
In this video, we will talk about the skills needed to communicate effectively in the workplace by focusing on the 4 primary ways we communicate. Verbally, through our speech. Non-verbally, through our facial expressions and body language. By listening to the messages of others. And finally, through our writing.
We will show you examples of communication skills, both effective and not so effective, and provide you with strategies you can use to improve your own skills. Feel free to pause this video at any time to jot down notes, answer questions, or discuss what you've seen. When you're finished, you will know how better communication can help you achieve success.
Sorry. Yeah. Actually, I have muted myself since that video was playing. So you have all enjoyed that video? Okay. Now, up till now we have seen the formal communication part. Now let us start with the informal communication structure. What is informal? Something which is not happening within the organization, something which is not official, that is informal. So, deviation from the planned communication structure is informal communication structure. Direction of the flow of information, leaving out people in the communication line, integrating people in the communication line. So, these are the informal communication structure. What are the networks? Chain, gossip, probability, cluster. So something which is not defined, anyone can communicate with anybody. That is the informal network. Network roles are bridge, license, isolate, isolated dyad and cosmopolites. Let us see it. Now let us see the formal structure versus the informal network. This is happening within the organization, that is the formal structure. Informal, happening between anyone can communicate with anybody, that is informal. So information shared without any formally imposed obligations or restrictions. Number one, if an organization's formal communication represents its skeleton, its informal communication constitutes its central nervous system. An organization's informal channels of communication based mainly on friendship or acquaintance. That is the informal communication part. Grapevine will be seeing in the next slide. So I will not be discussing on grapevine here. So do you have any idea what is grapevine? Anybody? Now, preventive rumors provide information to the formal system of communication on the issues important to the employees. Supply employees with a steady flow of clear, accurate and timely information. Present full facts. Keep formal communication lines open and the process as short as possible. So that is preventing rumors part. Formal media can be a company newsletter through which you can communicate. It can be employee handbooks, it can be company magazines, and it can be formal meetings. So these are the formal media through which you can circulate your information or through which you can share your information with other members of the company. What is the formal media again? Letters, memos, flyers and bulletins, faxes and all employees mailing. What is the informal media? You can have face-to-face discussions, you can have telephonic discussions, you can have voice messaging, you can have email, you can have instant messaging or chat. These are the informal media of communication. So informal dialogues, often no formal openings or closing. First utterance often assumes a common reference to a previous interactions or issue. Conversations generally last only a few minutes because it's an informal dialogue exchange. So we're not getting into that example part. This is again not very much important to you. So this brings us to the end of this particular slide. Okay, is it clear to all? Up till now, we have basically seen the difference between the formal and the informal communication. Okay. Now moving ahead, now we can come to the grapevine communication. Do you have any idea what is grapevine? What do you mean by grapevine? I think if you see this diagram very clearly, you will be able to understand what is grapevine. This diagram will tell you what is grapevine. Can anybody wants to try? What is grapevine? That's right. That's right, Vineet. Anything which is related to gossip. Now let us see. So a grapevine communication is a form of informal communication by which people communicate each other without any formal line of communication, or another word, it's a type of a gossip. So three may keep a secret if two of them are dead. What is called grapevine? It's called grapevine because like that of a grapevine, it is impossible to find the origin of information, which results in spread of rumors. That means something which has no base. It's a baseless information. Somebody has spread the rumor. Like suppose somebody in the organization has spread the rumor that this particular month you will be getting hike in the salary, or the company is giving bonus to you, without any communication by the HR department or some head of the institution. Just somebody wants to play a gossip. They have spread the rumor that company will be giving bonus to the employees this particular month. So that kind of information which has no base, which has no starting point, which has no origin, are called as the grapevine information. Then some statistics about grapevine. 40% of information about the company is received via grapevine. Around 45% of this appears before the official communication, and 33% of job information arrive via grapevine. This is the statistical study which is being carried out. So grapevine has three main characteristics. It is not controlled by management. It is perceived by most employees as being more believable and reliable. It is largely used to serve the self-interest of those people within it. The most powerful force in the universe is what? Gossip, which can happen at any time between any people. So there is no formal control on. That means we cannot control the grapevine. We just have to be aware from our side, and we should believe. We should have a strong belief in the system in which we are working. So it's better to avoid any kind of grapevine communication. We must be directly interacting with the senior management or with the persons to whom we are reporting within the organization, so that it must be understood that we should not be given false information from somebody. So it's better to get the information from the right person at the right time to avoid this kind of grapevine. So I mean, this is the only way we can avoid it. It cannot be stopped or controlled. For this reason, it is more flexible communication system than any other ways of communication. So lack of control, actually there is no managerial control over the grapevine communication system, and it is grown by itself. That means there is no management control over it. But you have to be alert and cautious so that you cannot get trapped into that grapevine communication system. So strong minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, weak minds discuss people. That is the tagline given by Socrates. So the person who is strong will discuss the ideas, innovative ideas, creative ideas. Average minds will discuss events so as to fulfill that ideas, and weak minds will discuss about the peoples. Okay, clear to all? Any queries? Anybody wants to ask something? Vineet, you wants to ask something? Okay, great. So now coming on to the rapid communication. So grapevine communication system is more faster than other formal or informal channels of communication. Why it is a more faster system than the formal or informal? Because it is baseless. It has nothing to do with your organization. It's just for having a fun. It's just for spreading a rumor. It's just to do gossip. So it can happen anytime, anywhere, and it can be very fast. That means you do not have to justify, or you do not have to give it in written. It has nothing to do with your formal information or informal. So that why it is called as, it is more faster than any other, that is formal or informal channels of communication. We can't keep any documentary record or evidence of grapevine communication system that can be shown or produced as future reference, because since it's baseless, it's of no use. So grapevine, what kind of people use this particular communication system? Because of their self-interest, just to gain more recognition, just to be more in the limelight. So those kind of people will use this particular communication system. So as grapevine communication, just to become, somebody wants to become popular. There are two ways of getting popular within the organization. One is by your work, second by spreading rumors, spreading gossips, and following the grapevine communication system. So grapevine communication system is produced by gossip and rumor. It's basically used for self-interest of the employees of an organization. So any good philosopher, any good scientist have always said that it is better to focus on ideas, it is better to focus on creative work rather than focusing on people. So popular among employees, yes, this communication system is much popular among the employees than other formal or informal channels. What is the distortion part here? So distorting of real message is one of the major features of grapevine communication system. In this communication process, information passes rapidly man to man. That's why the information loses its originality. That means, that is why I want to tell you that you must have the faith on the system. Is my audio not audible to all of you? Vineet, Tamil, Samo? Okay. So when this communication enters, then there is a distortion. When there is some problem in the communication channel, when things are not being communicated properly, so at that point of time there can be a distortion of the real message. Is one of the major issues of grapevine communication system. Then grapevine is basically spontaneous. It passes rapidly and spontaneously from top to bottom of the organization. Here is no need to make any efforts to make it successful. So that means it is spontaneous. What are the advantages of grapevine communication? The first advantage of a grapevine communication is the fact that information through this channel is extremely fast. It's just faster than wildfire. So that is the plus point of it. But since it's meaningless, it's not useful, so there is no point whether it's fast or not fast. Another advantage of grapevine communication is that it tends to bring a sense of unity among employees of an organization when they meet to share and discuss certain issues. This is the positive part of it, of the grapevine information. Because of that, people used to unite together and discuss on the official issues within the organization. So in organizations where formal communication do not function properly, grapevine communication comes to the rescue. What are the disadvantages of the grapevine communication system? The disadvantages are: information received through grapevine information might not be true. That means it may be true or it may not be true. Another great disadvantage of the grapevine system is the fact that it can damage an organization's goodwill. That is one of the major concerns for the organization. So grapevine communication can make organizations lose a lot of money because grapevine employees spend work hours talking about the latest rumors circulating around them. That is the most important threat to the organization, the grapevine communication. So grapevine communication cannot be relied on because it is not trustworthy. If not managed properly, it can have serious implications. That's true. So it has to be handled carefully so that it cannot harm anybody. So great minds discuss ideas, average mind discuss event, and small minds discuss people. This brings us to the end of this particular slide also. Okay, so this is all about the Grapevine communication system. Clear to all? Any doubts, any queries? Any questions anybody wants to ask? Okay. Let us play one more video for you. We have still 8 to 9 minutes left. Let us play another video for you.
Welcome, and in this session we're talking about effective listening skills. Effective listening skills are the greatest skill you'll ever learn, because you've got to listen to what your customer wants. What are their needs? What are their desires? What are they actually looking for? So you can only do this by listening to them. There's two ways of listening. One is passive. That's probably what you're doing right now. You've probably got this video on the internet and you're probably looking at your emails and doing other things. But it actually doesn't give you 100% of what you're doing. It doesn't give you 100% of your mind. And you've got to have the attention to use every facet you have. So active listening is what we recommend. You've got to be looking at the person and giving them 100% of your attention. While they're talking, you've got to be encouraging them, saying things like, I see, I totally agree with you. And these are encouraging them to give you more information and encouraging them to tell you what they actually want. You've got to be paraphrasing them and giving them feedback all the way through their conversation. Reflective feelings, showing the emotion that you have for your product and service is also important. And then at the end, you need to summarize to show that you either have the understanding or don't have the understanding for what they actually want. I have 10 tips enabling you to be an effective listener. Tip number 1 is face the speaker. By doing that, you can look at their lips, you can look at their eyes, you can see what they're saying. Tip number 2, maintain eye contact. There's a lot of things you can find out by looking at somebody in their eyes, so maintain that contact throughout. They'll also know that you're interested and paying attention. Tip number 3, minimize external distractions. So if you're meeting in a coffee shop, make sure you sit away from the coffee machine or away from the entrance so people are butting in all the time. So move away, get yourself into a place where you can actually have a conversation. Tip number 4, respond appropriately throughout the conversation, showing them that you're interested and you would want to find out more. Tip number 5, focus entirely on what the speaker is saying. This means all the other things that are going on around you are just trivial. They're not important. If a lorry goes past or somebody knocks the table, just ignore it. Just focus on the speaker. Tip number 6, minimize internal distractions. This is all about what did you have for breakfast, how are you getting home, what are you doing this evening. All these things are trivial. They're not part of the now, so therefore just ignore them. Tip number 7 is all about body language. What are they actually saying non-verbally through their body language? Try and understand this and see whether they're saying yes verbally but no through their body language. This will allow you to understand what they really want to get out of the conversation. Tip number 8 is about you avoiding letting them know that you've already solved the problem. This is because you need to work with them, you need to build a relationship with them, and this relationship building is all about being equals, about moving forward together. So avoid saying, oh, we've already sorted this out, because it just belittles them and it doesn't allow you to build a stronger relationship. Tip number 9 is all about complaints. They're going to come back to you and they're going to say this, they're going to say that. You've got to let them have their say. And then finally, you can come back with a rebuttal, an intelligent solution to the problem. Tip number 10 is all about engaging yourself, controlling yourself, focusing on what you're doing and what you want to get out of this meeting. Listening is a key skill and you need to ensure that you're focused on it.
Okay, so you all enjoyed this video on listening skills. Okay, great. Now moving on. Yes, Samu is typing something. Wants to ask something. Yes, that's right. It's a useful video for you. So now coming on to the last part of today's class, that is channel networks, forms and dimensions of communication. So let us start. The communication can be maybe classified into two categories, that is formal communication, informal communication. Communication or direction of communication can be upward, can be downward, can be lateral, can be diagonal, can be inward, can be outward. Then moving on to the next part, expressions can be written, it can be oral, it can be non-verbal. Formation of networks can be Y networks, chain networks, wheel networks, kite, slash or all channels. Then this part we have already seen, the formal and the informal part. This I have already discussed, the board of director, managing director, top level, middle level, senior supervisors. Then informal also I have discussed with you. This part we have discussed. Grapevine we have discussed. Informal we have discussed. In this part, downward communication we have also discussed. Upward we have also discussed. Okay. So lateral communication can be marketing manager and the production manager. Diagonal communication, that means something, the communication which is happening diagonally. Diagonally means marketing manager is communicating to the training supervisor, marketing supervisor is communicating to the training manager. So any communication which is happening diagonally, that means from here to here the communication is happening and from here to here the communication is happening, that is called as the diagonal communication. And lateral communication is happening one to one. This is the lateral communication. Then what is vertical communication? Communication happening between these two, communication happening between here and here, and communication happening between here and here. This is called as the vertical communication. What is inward communication? Inward communication includes all the information received by the organization from external agencies. That means information which you are getting from the, not from the internal officials. You are getting information from the external environment. So external environment can be other organizations, it can be government, it can be suppliers, it can be customers, it can be competitors, it can be shareholders, or it can be media. That means these all are the external agencies. These are not internal. So information gained from these are called as the inward communication. Then information can be gained through letter or through emails, through offers, through orders, through requests, through suggestions, through complaints, and through notices. By any of these means you can get the information. What is the outward communication? The communication which the organization maintains with the outside world is called as the outward communication. That means communication happening by the organization to the outside world is called as the outward communication. That means outward means from inner to outer. So outward communication may be advertisements, it can be media interaction, it can be public relations, it can be negotiations, mails, telegrams, letters, tenders, notices, telephonic conversations, and so on. So we have seen this part also. Forms of communication can be verbal and non-verbal. Verbal can be oral and written. This also we have discussed. So communication networks also we have discussed in the previous slide. So the communication system of an organization is generally influenced by four factors: formal channels of communication, authority structures within the organization, job specialization, ownership, and information ownership. So because of these factors, the organizational communication influences. Then effective communication is the most important ingredient of an organization. Organization's effective communication system, achievement of organization's objective, proper coordination, integration of employees in an organization. It keeps the employees together and it enhances own's productivity and organization's productivity. So this is the importance of the effective communication. Now, what are the benefits of the effective communication? Because of the effective communication, there can be increased productivity, there can be a strong decision making. This all will happen if there is a effective communication. Strong decision making, quicker problem solving, healthier business relationships, improved customer relationship, increased awareness, lesser misunderstanding, better quality documents, and enhanced professional image. So if there is an effective communication, you will get all these benefits. So we must ensure that there should not be grapevine, there should be a good formal communication and a proper communication responsibilities is being defined in the hierarchy of the system. So if all these things are in place, you will get all those benefits within the organization. Okay, so this brings us, I think 2 minutes are left. So this brings us to the end of our today's class. So we have covered all the topics as per our today's class. Formal and informal channels of communication, grapevine and direction of communication. So hope you have enjoyed today's class on communication. Finally, before closing this session, any questions you want to ask related to today's class? Anybody of you, do you have any questions related to class? Any queries, any clarifications, any doubts, any help you require from my side? You can feel free to ask me right now. Okay, Vineet says no, it was perfect. What about others? Clear from Samo. What about Tamil Rasi? Okay, it's clear. So, thank you all for your time. Hope you have enjoyed today's class. From next class onwards, Niharika will be taking up the class, and just do give your feedbacks after the class. Once the class is closed today, do give your feedback. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great evening. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.